Although High Elves and Cathay share a lot of similarities in terms of playstyle, they do have some important differences. Cathay, of course, has access to gunpowder, which is quite nice, and High Elves got all their monsters in the air, whereas Cathay has a couple of flying monsters, but certainly nothing on the power level of the dragons of the High Elves. We've got here from Mirian versus Calamity. That's right, it's, no Rider Rohan in the High Elves replay today. Amazing. An Archmage of High Magic up on the Moon Dragon, who also got a Star Dragon, and a Phoenix. So lots of literal firepower up in the sky here. We're ready to unload some flaming hot loads all over these Cathayans. We've also got some Lion Infantry here, a single Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, some Reaver Archers out on the flanks, and that's basically it. Nice, super wide formation. Very spread out here. Cathay does not have any mobility to punish that, so they'll be pretty decent. Didn't take much in the way of cavalry, and basically the only mobility here is these Empress Crowmen, who are going to go out and take down the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. Calamity here coming in with some Jade Warriors looking to defend with some Peasant Long Spears, a couple of Crane Guns as well. 2 Terracotta Sentinels, very interesting choice, although historically, High Elves don't have the best AP, especially against large armored single entities. So it makes sense a little bit to take the Sentinel, although here, the lack of mobility is going to be pretty decisive, perhaps. I mean, obviously, the game's still yet to be played. It's possible the defense can hold, but right now, the Empress Crowmen, I mean, they do a decent job. They drop their grenades on the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower there, do quite a bit of damage, and then flee from the Phoenix. It's going to pull the Phoenix away from combat here, but we see already some breath attacks there. Star Dragon got on those Jade Warriors, as the Bolt Thrower uses what little ammunition it can to try and trade into those Crane Guns a bit. The Reaver Archers also pull up here. They're going to shoot in at the Crane Guns. Obviously, there's no, like, crossbows or archers to hard punish the Reaver Archers here, and Crane Guns a little bit slow to reposition and start firing. Are going to be quite good, obviously, returning fire, and they do have missile block chance of their own. Pretty decent missile block, 65%, actually very good. But still going to be taking some damage due to their low HP from those Reaver Archers. Any shots that do hit will do significant damage, but Bolt Thrower's been taken down there. The Lion Infantry slowly, patiently closing in. Yeah, we can see the one Reaver Archer that got focused by the guns took pretty serious damage. Get taken down very quickly, but the lack of mobility here does mean the Sentinels are basically going to be chasing the whole time, at least if the High Elves are on top of their micro. Cycle charging here, which they definitely need to be. Need to be efficient at charging in, pulling through, back out, or, you know, back out through your own troops, especially. Right now, these Lions have yet to get into combat, but going to be getting there. Ooh, nice breath attack, just absolutely savages. Those Jade Warriors in the front line. Gonna see, a Soul Quench as well, so some nice side-shotting through the units here. Soul Quench will do some pretty good HP damage as well, and then the quick follow-up, the Lions and the Dragon. Absolutely spectacular destruction for the Cathayan line here. And again, the Terracotta Sentinels moving to engage whenever they can with that slow speed, really meaning that they can't ever get good engagements here as long as the High Elves stay moving. Here, they do manage to get a swipe or two, but those, again, slow animations means the Flamespire Phoenix just kind of wobbles underneath and skirts away there back up into the sky. Love that bird waddle animation. Anyway. Ooh, more breath attacks being used here. Just massive AoE damage. One big advantage of dragons, of course. If you use those breath attacks efficiently, they can do a lot of AoE damage. And AoE damage tends to be one of the strongest ability types for any unit or character or magical spell. Having monsters with a built-in massive AoE nuke like that, quite good. Of course, Star Dragons could also use its breath attack specifically here against single entities if it needs to, especially at point-blank range, do a lot of damage. Oh man, just absolutely beautiful here as Meow charges in. Of course, Meow Ying will be able to sustain a lot of these units here, so even though she herself's taken some pretty serious damage, that regrowth coming in to help. And Cathay, of course, these Terracotta Sentinels will do some work grinding down the White Lions as well here. Let's see if they can But right now, things are pretty close, honestly. Both sides healing a little bit. Flamespire, of course, can innately heal itself to a degree, but you don't necessarily want to be relying on that. Ooh, a little grenade drop here on the Lions. Do some really nice damage. These Empress Crowmen already all over the field, 1,000 damage value, and they're still got a lot of HP left, like 3/4 HP. So, pretty good stuff from them. Very good performance, actually. Keep it in cinematic cam, as it's mostly just a big melee brawl between these two factions. Neither of them electing to take a ton of ranged units. If we do check out on the ranged units in the periphery, we can see that the Empress Crowmen have done a good job of killing all the Reavers. We do have, well, except for this one unit here, doing a nice job chasing some of these routing Cathayans. At this point, Empress Crowmen definitely want to stay close as much as they can to try and assist here. Yeah, a lot of High Elves all of a sudden start to tear a route and just kind of get ground down here. A couple Lions getting routed there. Soul Quench moving in. Not much damage on Meow. That single target doesn't do a lot there. But Dragons, of course, can use their mobility to keep these routing units going. And as the Empress Crowmen try and chase off these Lions here, they get chased. We've also got some Lions here chasing off the Crane Guns and a pretty considerable amount of Peasant Longospheres as well. Be a big loss for Cathay. Not a huge one, but a decent one. Those units all get chased off. Let's keep a wide view here. Watch as these White Lions are able to recover their leadership. As the Archmage shatters a few units out on this far side, those Crane Guns and those Jade Warriors are done. Reaver is also, again, keeping all these units occupied. So mostly just all here. Zoom back in then, as the Sentinels continue to make their stand. Yao Ying at their side. Nice lightning strike there right in the center. Very flashy animations can be seen at a distance. A little hit and run charge there from the Star Dragon. It's going to do some damage. Another breath attack. I don't know, probably didn't do a ton of those single entities, but you got to use it on something. I don't know, I might have honestly targeted that on the Crowmen, but given those Lions were pretty much dead anyway. Hard to say. But the Crowmen just absolutely beast here. Haven't really been targeted too heavily by the High Elves. Haven't had the right resources in place to try and take them on. So kind of just ignore them, let them do their thing for the timing, and if they want to fight a Star Dragon, they're welcome to, but I don't think they actually want to. Yeah, you're going to see them pull away from that engagement pretty quickly as Apotheosis comes in to help heal up the Star Dragon. Keep it topped up. Some really nice, efficient, well, not super efficient. Apotheosis, last time I checked, I haven't actually done the math in a while, was the least efficient spell heal in the game, but it does exist, and it comes in a lore with some other nice spells as well. So I think actually is cheaper than Lore of Life. I'd have to look. I believe you do pay a little bit of a premium for the Lore of Life Archmage specifically, as it probably should be. I think same for like the Slans, for example, right? I don't know if that applies to all casters in the game, but we'll double check that. I might be completely wrong when it comes to the High Elves, but I'm pretty sure at least the Slans that's the case. Anyway, Flamespire Phoenix now trying to fight the Crowmen, chase them down. And doing a decent job of it so far. Sentinels chasing a little bit. Again, kind of get somewhat out of position. Then when the High Elves decide where to land, the thing is they can decide where to land, right? That's really the crux of it. It's just being able to be like, oh, the Sentinels are over there, we're going to fly over here. Sentinels are here, we'll fly over there. And just keep them on their toes the whole time, not let them really get set and fight in good engagements. But here, these Reaver Archers kiting away using the last of their arrows to try and shoot down the Empress Crowmen. Their elemental leadership is going to be crumbling pretty soon, so they've been absolute MVPs for Cathay here, though. As the Crowmen fall, we will honor their incredible performance here. It's coming down to being pretty close. We'll see if the High Elves have enough left in the tank to win this single entity fight. Single entity fights also come down to a lot of RNG, but if we kind of analyze here the chances, right? 65-51 on the Star Dragon is going to be pretty good. All Sentinels have 66 attacks, so when they can get in contact at high weapon strength, they have a good chance to hit, good chance to deal some significant damage. The weak point for Cathay is definitely Meow at this point, in her human form at least. She kind of gets knocked around a little bit. She's not going to take necessarily full damage from charges always, but still, 70 armor. Pretty good stats overall, but not a ton of HP. Especially now, having been heal capped. Had to spend a lot of the resources of healing on herself. But let's see. We do have some more line infantry that chased off all those other units. Now coming back. And some more soul quench. Not really too worried about the peasant long spears. Just trying to zap Meow with that. And it is doing some damage. Every little bit helps in a situation like this, but we're now going to get the all-in single entity fight, a true 3v3. Let's watch up close. Looks like the Phoenix and the Dragon are able to target Yao Ying specifically, while the Moon Lady is 2v1 versus these Sentinels. Will that combination hold? Meow actually manages to kind of skate away from that. Star Dragon's going to use this opportunity to pull away, activate its charge bonus again. And honestly, the Archmage does the same thing. A little bit of a traffic jam, but they're able to sneak past each other. Star Dragon lands with some attacks there. Extra charge bonus, 45 is definitely significant. Helps that melee attack just get that extra chance to hit on those couple of first attacks. After they land, Archmage kind of feints that charge there. Gets blocked from Miao Ying. Actually somehow gets back up in the sky. Right now, the Sentinels are doing a pretty good job body blocking for Meow, but here they actually accidentally block her against the Star Dragon momentarily, although it looks like she's able to squeak through their legs. Slippery as she is in a situation like this, can try and stay alive as much as possible, but Lord Snipe, dedicated as it is with these couple of dragons in this late stage, not enough bodies to protect Meow. She gets terrified away, and the Sentinels are going to have to stay immediately with her, but Flamespire actually being the one to body block at this point. Had to keep the Sentinels busy. But the whole time, too, these White Line Infantry are just kind of chunking away, getting some little bits of value here and there. Hasn't contributed a huge amount so far, but again, in a situation like this, having that support infantry helps so much. So we'll see a regrowth here on the Sentinel before Meow croaks. She's going to try and transform, gives herself like a couple of seconds of invulnerability. And it also pops her up into the sky momentarily, where we'll see due to the flying mechanics, if anything. Yeah, it looks like the Archmage had kind of pre-taken off there so that she didn't get blocked, and was able to get a hit on Meow and probably chase her off. That regrowth on the Sentinel is pretty good. Definitely takes it almost back up to top, restores its vigor, fresh pretty much as well. But the other Sentinel is still suffering pretty badly, and with this one Sentinel being solo against two dragons and a Phoenix, it's not going to be enough. Meow actually manages to survive there, re-transform herself back down to the ground. Although I'd imagine, yeah, this last charge of the Archmage should finish her off. Whoop, there she goes. Gets tossed on that attack animation rather than actually taking any damage, buying her a few more seconds. Sentinels during this time are just swinging on these lions, doing a ton of damage to them very quickly. But yeah, 3v2, especially with something on the power of the Star Dragon, which is equal to, if not better than, I would say definitely better than, the Sentinels all around. A little bit of a landing issue for the Moon Dragon there. That's still a thing. Yep, nope. Nope's back out of that. That's the Star Dragon just taking the engagement. It has some HP to give. Same with the Flamespire Phoenix as well. Hasn't even gotten its regrowth off yet. Speaking of regrowth, wow, what a clutch late game regrowth on that Sentinel just to keep things alive for Cathay. Miao Ying on her absolute last legs manages to get in range to pop that regrowth there. The fire damage, though, is super important here. On fire modifier, reducing healing done by the regrowth by 50%. That is absolutely massive and a huge component of why, in a situation like this, the High Elves are likely to win. Dragons don't even necessarily have fire damage themselves on their melee attacks anymore, which is a little bit sad. They can still give fire damage on the breath attacks. But, yep. Flame Spire Phoenix, though, of course, has fire damage on its attacks. Is able to spread that around, get on the right target here, prevent as much healing as possible, and its own, not regrowth, but rebirth, rather. That's the word I was looking for earlier. See that proc a little bit there, and heal Phoenix. And now some more landing dancing as this Sentinel faces its, what do we call it? Constructive crumbling. That actually sounds, it's like very much a contradiction, but I love it. I actually love it. Sounds great. Constructive crumbling. Because they're constructs, right? And they're crumbling. Okay, anyway, I'll go home now. Thanks all for watching. No, I'm just kidding. A fun game for sure, though, for Miriam. Definitely enjoyed that. It's nice to see dragons do their thing. You know, a lot of people really love dragons. The fantasy of it, such a classic fantasy beast, big monster, or sometimes a friend in the case of the High Elves. Definitely a friend to them in this situation. Both these dragons getting close to 3,000 damage value. Phoenix a respectable 2,000 as well. Love the cheap Flame Spire Phoenix performing quite nicely. The Valerian Reavers also won 170 kills. Great job chasing some routing units off. The other ones got a little bit overwhelmed by those absolutely beastly Onyx Crowmen. 1,500 damage value, 144 kills, 11,000 damage dealt. I mean, MVPs, absolutely. Enough said. The Crane Guns also, despite the adversity they faced, were pretty much able to pay for themselves too. Maybe a little bit short of what you would want. But then the infantry for Cathay just largely struggled here. And then the Sentinels, again, they pretty much pay for themselves. Miao Ying does not. High Elves did target her pretty heavily. And as a result, she suffered. But yeah, I mean, it ends up being pretty close. It's just a little bit of extra value. Maybe even the healing, you know, reduction from that flaming damage is, I don't know if that's enough to make the difference, but it's pretty close. I mean, if you think about, like, just doubling the healing effects that Meow was able to do on these Sentinels, especially in that late game there, might have been able to equalize things and actually pull out the win. But credit to Miriam, doing a really nice job cycle charging, targeting the right units, charging, you know, high-value targets, and staying dedicated to taking out Miao Ying first before really focusing too much on constructs, which was definitely the right call. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.